Kamora Harrington, the Vice Chair of the Hartford Commission on Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Issues. Say hello to Kamora.
I am so happy to be here today. Can you hear me? Is that working? Great. I'm happy to be here today. Can I use yours, please? Yeah. Way better. Okay. Hi. I am happy to be here today. I am happy that you are here today. Right now, whenever this happens, know that I end up flooded with emotion and have to deal with that. And I just looked over here and saw Regina Dighton and need to take a second real quick because one of my amazing and wonderful mentors is here. The woman who, when I came out, I went to the community center, I said, I'm a lesbian, and she said, I don't care. We have a library that needs to be put together. Go put the library together. Thank you so much for giving me my history. And where's sweet baby girl Kamora? Kamora! Where'd she go? She'll show up. And there she is. You. And this is what I want us to stick with today. Regina, big old dyke. I wet my teeth. I wet my everything. I learned so much from her. I'm here. There's a whole bunch of babies who seem to think that I'm great. Yeah, I'm kind of awesome. I share a birthday with Dr. Stilson. I share a birthday with Mucha. This is one of my mothers. Regina is here. She is a mother. And my babies are here now, too. And my babies have heard me say this with all types of vulgarities, so I'm not going to use them for you today. But dykes mess stuff up. Right now in our community, it is time for us to be loud and proud and queer in all of the ways that include all of the celebrations, but all of the way that also continues to hold people's feet to the fire. Yes. So we need to have community, and we need to create community, and we need to enjoy community. So everyone, look at the people next to you. Look at the person next to you right now. Don't look at me. Stop looking at me. I'm looking at you. Stop looking at me. Look at the people next to you. I'm going to keep pushing for the next 90 minutes of your life. You're going to be doing way more. Look at them and say, see me, I am queer and I am you. See me, I am you. See me, I am queer and I am you. And if you didn't believe it, go home and read a book. I got like a whole bunch of them for you. If you believe it, you're going to keep connecting. We're going to keep coming up with ways for you to continue connect. I'm going to turn it back over to Mucha, and every time we need some righteous indignation, it'll come back to me.
Yes. Thank you, Kamora, getting us started. And I just wanted to do a little wardrobe check. What do you think of this headpiece? I couldn't wear it in January when all the women were wearing their pink hats. And you know what pink hats we're talking about, right? Do you think that orange man would want to grab this? I hope not, because he'd have something in store for him. But I'm so glad that you're with us. And 48 years ago, in a bar, and I get emotional, and I might get emotional, in a bar, Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera and others. That's right, others, the folks that never came out in Stonewall the movie, but we know they were there. We stood up and got empowered and had the courage because we were tired of being oppressed. It got started 48 years ago. Do you think we got a party in 2 years when it's 50th? Oh yeah, join us in making it happen. And 2 years ago we were at the old State House, weren't we? Yes. Because we were celebrating the fact that finally our love got recognized throughout the land, right? That's right, the Supreme Court had the wisdom to know that our love is all love, right? And sadly last year when we came together at Real Art Ways, it was with sorrow and shock, right? That our brothers and sisters in a club in Orlando, their lives were snuffed out too soon, way too soon, right? So let's just for a second remember. Thank you. And this year, we come back together even more courageous to stand up to the fact that 100 bills have been introduced since the Orange Man went into office. Bills to turn back the clock about religious freedom and about things like bathrooms and other things. Well, we're not gonna stand by, even though our state is wonderful with passing progressive legislation continually, including the conversion bill, this session, right? Well, in other states, it's not as good as what we have it here, but we solidarity with them, don't we, to say that we are going to resist and that it is more than LGBT issues. It's about turning back coverage for Medicaid recipients. It's about homelessness. It's about Black Lives Matter. It's about immigration. All these issues are our issues, aren't they? So we stand in unity today to say Connecticut has it good, but we stand with the rest of the country. All over the land, there's 100, and throughout the world, coming together today and in unity like we are today, and saying, we've got to resist. We've got to stay together now more than ever. And someone who has been with us consistently, because I remember her about 10 years ago, we were in the front of the building as the very first time the rainbow flag went up on this flag, on this Capitol. It was the last time, too. We changed the rules right after we did it, but we did it. We had the rainbow flag on this building. And it was because of allies like our next ally, the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Connecticut is again with us today.
It is great to be here today, and I just want to tell everybody the reason there isn't a bigger crowd here today because they're all down in Washington. Right. Washington today. You know, because everybody thinks we don't need to march here because we know what rights we have. But you know what? I have to kind of disagree. We have to keep ourselves in front. We got to make sure that everybody understands the issues, that we're out there talking about them all the time, so that because if we're quiet, they're going to start taking them away. We got to be out there and being strong. And so we need everybody out there speaking out. You know, on my way here today, I was thinking, back in 1991 was the year that we voted for non-discrimination against the LGBT community. And I remember that so well, and I was so proud to be there to do that as a state representative. About a month later, my daughter decided to move back from Rhode Island to Connecticut. And she called me up, and she's going to take an apartment right in my own town, and she and her girlfriend were going to have a room, be roommates. Because she probably was a lesbian. And so my daughter calls me here at the Capitol, and I got to tell you, it was the best phone call I ever made. I got to tell you, I made this phone call to this renter, and I said, "Hi, you don't know me. My name is Nancy Wyman, and I happen to be a state representative, but do you know what law just passed? You can't discriminate against my daughter. You have no idea what her sexual preference is anyway, but you would rent to two men, but you wouldn't rent to two women." I said, "I want you to know that the law passed, and I think you should be changing your rules right now." Within about 3 hours, my daughter got a phone call and said, "Hey, you know, we got this apartment ready for you." But you know what that means? Yeah, it was great. It was great to do that. That's because everybody started to speak out, right? And I really believe that that's what we have to do. We have to continue to speak out. I mean, the conversion bill this year was fantastic. We had all sides voting for it, so thank you, because you did that. You're the one that got in there. It may be making people scared about re-election. We don't care how. We just want to make sure that we get all rights protected. So, you know, what's going on in Washington right now? At 1 minute, he says that the LGBTQ community is going to be fine. He wouldn't do anything. But you know what? He said that against everybody else. He told us that Medicare won't be touched and Medicaid wouldn't be touched, and he's out there doing it all. He's attacking everybody. So we need us to get strong. We need our voices to be strong. We got to make sure that they hear it here in Hartford, but we hear it more in Washington, D.C. So I ask you to please keep going. Please keep fighting. And you know what? Because new issues come up every day. And we should be able to come out and talk about those issues. What's happening with bullying in our schools still, or racial discussions all the time. We've got to get out there and start really talking about it. Our battlefield is for the future of our country. Our battlefield, and I will tell you something, I've got young grandchildren living in this state. And so I want to tell you something. I want them to have the freedoms. And they can look up to you for leadership. So don't mess up. Make sure that they have those freedoms. Make sure all our children and grandchildren, adopted children, whoever, that everybody has their freedoms. And it's up to you. So let's get out there and fight like hell.
I'm going to out myself again. I'm a big old lesbian. I'm going to share my preference. My preference is an independently wealthy social justice activist. So consider this some vocabulary lesson and a request because I'm single. If anyone knows of any beautiful, amazing, loud, proud, independently wealthy social justice activist, that is my preference. My orientation is lesbian. Deal with it. Thank you all for showing up. Did you just see that example of using my voice? Awesome. Do it yourself. Practice. Look at the person next to you. Tell them who you are and what you prefer in this world. I only know interactive. I prefer clean water in Flint, Michigan. I prefer safe schools. Okay, did everyone make a connection? If you didn't, I hope you feel some kind of way. Hopefully everyone made a connection. I'm going to keep pushing. I only do workshops. You're going to keep meeting people. It's not going to stop. However, quick reprieve. Dawn McKinley, who is an important, very integral part of our community. I just went over, gave her a hug. Thank you so much. So happy you're here. What are you going to sing? I have no clue what this song is. Roar. It is going to be Roar by Katy Perry. I don't know this song. I know I am what I am. That's my pride anthem. I know Bulldagger Swagger. There's space for all. Come do what you do, Dawn.
You don't know what that song is. Let me hear y'all roar, okay? Let me hear y'all roar. We made so much noise. We have had so many things, but we still have to fight. And the fight continues right now. Go ahead. You ready? I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, scared to rock the boat and make a mess. I stood too quietly, agreed politely, but I guess I thought I had a choice. But put your body had the naked choice. It stood for nothing. I stood for everything. You held me down, but I got up. Get ready, cause I've had enough. I see it all, I see it now. Like thunder gonna shake the ground. I've had me down, but I got up. Already pushing off the dust. You hear my voice, you hear that sound. I got the eye of the tiger, on fire, dancing through the fire. Cause I am a champion. You're gonna hear me roar. You're gonna hear me roar. 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 fly, singing like a bee. I've earned my stripes. I went from zero to my own hero. You held me down, but I got up, already pushing off the dust. You hear my voice, you hear that sound, like they're gonna shake the ground. You held me down, but I got up, already pushing off the dust. You hear my voice, you hear that sound. I got the eye of the tiger, fighter, dancing through the fire. 'Cause I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar louder, louder than a lion. 'Cause I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar.
She continues to get us up as a crowd, so to speak. And next, you heard Kamora talking about earlier, former commissioner as well to the Hartford Commission on LGBT issues. She has been rocking us, raising the roof with her words at major events in the state for many years. Join me in welcoming Regina Dighton.
Thank you. Hello, family. It's so good to see family. And I asked them to put me on a little earlier, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I want to dedicate my words to my good friend and recently Got it now? All right. I want to dedicate my words this afternoon to my friend and recently deceased sister, Roseanne Bilodeau. Roseanne was with us early on, my radical lesbian sister, one of the founders of what used to be the Rape Crisis Center that became the Sexual Assault Crisis Service. And I've got to go out to her home to be with her daughter. And so I'll be leaving you after this. But one of the things that Roseanne knew early on, and that we knew that is always remains true, is that we have to come together and stay together. Decades ago, I made somehow, I don't know how it came to me, 2 goals for my life. One was to take my whole self wherever I went. My queer self, my black self, my overeaten self, my Buddhist self, my Christian self, my I don't know what I want to be self. Everywhere I went. Didn't have to necessarily dance and show it all off everywhere, but I couldn't leave any part of me at home and be healthy. Couldn't lock any part up in a box or a closet and be any good to anybody else. And so then that second goal was to ask all the great spirits that be, that every day the meaning of the term my people increased for me until there was not one people left out when I thought my people. And there is no better place to be blessed to practice that than this LGBTQRSTUVWXYZ community, because we are everything and everybody. Talk about I'm every woman, every man, every child, every girl. There's not a category of human identity that doesn't include us in terms of race, ability / disability, income, socioeconomic status, nothing. And so we really have this perfect place if we remember, as Kamora said when we came on, I am you, you are me, you are me. And I want to give, I always feel, especially in June, to give such honor and gratitude to those who came before us that made today possible, and ask that their spirits bless those who are here now, those who are young now, and those who are on their way in, coming back from the spirit world, back into the physical world. Wow. And sometimes it's not that easy. Separation is easy, and there's so many forces out there wanting to divide us, trying to divide us. You will be tempted to be divided. You will be tempted, for instance, if you might happen to be okay financially, or think you're well off. That's a fantasy, because they can take that away from you tomorrow. But anyway, and you might tend to think it's because you did so much wonderful stuff, that you have so much, and you have nothing in common with that person standing there begging, asking for a quarter. You might. That temptation will always be there. And what you'll be told is that you are better. And I think we already have enough as queer people of this message that there's something wrong with us and that we're not valuable enough. Thus, the temptation to want to take on some little nonsense up in the head and buy it. To feel like, I'm not you and you're not me. Please remember that's fake. And you know what? Do it on purpose. Do it on purpose. Learn about, we're talking about I am you, you are me. If you're not, learn about an identity that you don't have or that you don't hold. Meet somebody, go somewhere, find out something, do all you can to live the connections that are real amongst us. Roseanne was that connection for me. Roseanne is a white lesbian who grew up very poor in Eastern Connecticut. She wasn't taught to love me. I wasn't taught to love her. It's because she chose to be socially and politically conscious that she ended up that person who walked up to me, introduced herself to me, and got it. And we did great things together. And I know she'll be doing great things on the other side. I'm sure she's right here blessing all of y'all. So before I start crying, hello family. It's great to be here. Thank you very much.
Much, Regina. Thank you. And you know when I get up here again, it's workshop time again. So if you're in your comfort zone, feel it right now because I'm about to take you out of it. Look at where you're standing. Look at the ground physically. Look at where you're standing. Okay. Look at the people who are around you. Those are probably people who you came with. Those are probably people who you're comfortable with for some reason. Maybe they're dressed like you. Maybe they're wearing a hat like you. Maybe they kind of smelled like you when you got close to them. Maybe they were just really cute and they fit into that preference place, which is kind of awesome too. Move. Move. People on the right, go to the left. People on the left, go to the right. Move. Baby, can you tell? Yes, that's what I'm saying. I love telling people what to do. I'm a cranky brown lesbian. I love telling people what to do. It makes me happy. I claim all of me. Kim, my name is Cora. Nice to meet you. Kim is my badass friend. Okay, now stand in this space, and that's where you are now. Step into it. The sun is hitting you a little bit differently. The people around you are a little bit different. The conversation around you is going to be a little bit different right now. It's going to happen again. I love each and every last one of you, from the most problematic human being to the other most problematic human being, because Melissa, problematic human being, ho, namaste, we got this. Okay, humans, we are humans, and we are wrong, and we are perfect, and we are great, and we are complicated, and this is a great time. One of the things Regina hit on, and again, she's one of my mentors. I happen to run a mentoring program for queer youth. Deal with it, I believe in this stuff. Turn to someone next to you. Hopefully at this point it's someone who you've never spoken to before, and tell them about one human being in your life. It could be Jem in the Miracles. It could be your mother. It can be any fictional character who you needed to create because you needed that human. You needed that deity. Share with the person next to you what, who, where. Share that mentor who has been there and important for you. And know that as I say this, I think of Nancy Drew. Because if it weren't for Nancy Drew, there's a whole lot of mysteries in life I would not have been able to navigate. She and I had a great relationship. Who is that person for you? Share it with your neighbor. A man of God, and I depend on that because every so often, even us sinners need some spiritual guidance as well. And Louis Mitchell is this human being who is here for us in this way. He's going to speak right now. He's going to share some beautiful words, and I'm going to think some really embarrassing stories about him while he's talking.
I'm trying to think of which embarrassing story she's going to share. My name is Louis Mitchell. I'm the assistant minister at South Congregational Church in Springfield, which is actually Hartford North. We're kind of Boston adjacent, but they don't claim us, but you do. And we claim you too, to be clear about that. I was thinking on my way here that I was going to say that my church is not your grandmother's church, but considering the average age of members at my church is 70, I might be your grandmother's church. I might be your great-grandmother's church. I want to share this with you as an aside. The congregation of my church is straight, white, cisgender people, 70 years and older. And they love the full and entire black, former lesbian, trans, out, sex positive, body positive pastor that I am. And then some. I didn't add like all the kinky stuff, I didn't add that. So what I want to say is that we're not here to celebrate a manufactured idea of Stonewall. Stonewall was not a celebration, it was a rebellion. And even Jesus kicked over a table when the time was right. But in order to have the difference between a rebellion and a mob, you need to have some unity of purpose. A rebellion means that people came together with a goal and they did anything they could to accomplish that goal. What that means for us as a community is that all the isms and the phobias that are alive and well in the LGBTQIA community need to fall. So if you have issues, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this. If you're a good liberal white person, work with your race shit. If you're an old school lesbian and you kind of turfy around the edges, get over yourself. If you're one of those guys that says, I don't play with the girls, get over yourself. Because we don't have time for any one of us to be leaving anyone else behind. Yes, I'm wearing a collar, and yes, I'm a pastor, but more than that, I'm a human being. I am not just my gender, I also have sex, as often as humanly possible. And as I get older and bolder and fatter, that's less so, but we pray, we keep praying. I say that because our movement early on was extraordinarily sex positive. As the AIDS pandemic came along, we became more corporate and more coupley, and less randy and rowdy and sexy. I'm telling you this because some of you probably weren't around for it. But when I came up back in the day, in LA, Griffith Park was the place to be. In the crevices and in the bushes, this is where pride was born, where you stopped hiding with a hanky in your pocket on the weekends, and some weird color that only people in your community knew on Tuesdays. The people who gambled everything for us, at Stonewall and at Dewey's and at Compton's Cafeteria and other places around the country, they dared to say, yes, I suck dick, and I will fight you for my right to do so. I'm not saying this because I want to rile you up or shock you. I'm saying I need you to be in your body in order to fight. We've gotten in our heads. We've gotten in Anheuser-Busch and Stolichnaya and corporate models of things. We've gotten very Ellen and Neil Patrick Harris about it. I need you to come on back to Marsha P. Johnson. Marsha was not Ellen. And Ellen wouldn't have invited Marsha over. Do you hear me? It is time for us to stop finding icons that seem to represent us but really don't give a shit about us. The icons that you need are standing right next to you. Right next to you. I want you to look at your neighbor and tell them, I deserve my full rights. And I will die trying to get them. Turn to your other neighbor and say, I deserve my full rights. Somebody died so I could have them.
Somebody died.
When you leave this rally, the people who are at home getting dressed for tonight who couldn't be bothered, the people who are in New York and DC and husband and wife and partner shopping because that's the important part of our new kind of model of marriage equality queerness, you need to grab them by the collar and say, boo, before you say I do, you better say I did something. You don't get to tread on the good news of my work while you sitting at home watching Ellen. If you don't put her in the oar in the water, you need to drown where you sit. I'll come pray over your funeral. And I'll pray for you in the interim. I say this to you that every single person standing here under the sound of my voice has an activism call. I don't care if it's writing a check, stuffing an envelope, dancing, voguing, marching, mentoring. Find your call and live into it, because there's at least one life waiting for you to touch them. And if you don't touch them, the opposition will, and their hands will not be full of love and kindness. I am with you every step of the way. In my collar, not in my collar. Being rowdy, not being rowdy. I'll be as holy and cleaned up as you need me to be, you know, if you need me to talk to your mom or something. But what I need you to know is that every step of the way I will be with you, but we must move together. We must move together. God bless you all, and thank you so much for having me here.
Can he wake us up or what? Let's hear from Pastor Lewis coming all the way from Springfield to deliver that word. So, coming this far, right here from the city of Hartford, our own mayor, please join me in welcoming Luke Bronin.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Pride. I am so proud to be with you today. Just behind us on the other side of the street, the Supreme Court. Connecticut, which helped create that movement that led to that historic Supreme Court decision that we now have to fight to preserve. This legislature, where we've had some of the boldest leadership in the country on issues not just of marriage equality, but of transgender rights, of equality across the board. I'm proud that we're in a state where our Outfilm CT just finished their 30th year over at Trinity. 30th year is significant because 30 years ago that wasn't just a film festival that brought the community together, it was also a tremendous act of courage. So I'm proud of our community for that, and I'm proud of being the mayor of a city that has one of the most active, engaged, and vibrant LGBT communities in the entire country. And so to all of the gay and lesbian and transgender members of this city of Hartford community and Connecticut, thank you for being part of us. Thank you for being who you are. I'm so proud to be here with you today. But I also want to say this. We know that we like to talk about North Carolina and Indiana and Texas, where there are such obvious battles left to fight. But I want to say thank you to True Colors and to Claro for fighting the battles that are left here still to fight, because they are many and they are important. And the work that you guys do with young people in our schools, with young people in our community, with kids whose families may not be willing or able to help them and welcome them, what you do to make every child that you have the chance to work with feel like they are loved, feel proud of who they are, is a tremendously important thing, and I just want to say thank you. And we know we still have work to do. We know we still have a lot of work to do, but we're committed to doing it so that 10, 15, 20 years from now, when we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of Outfilm Connecticut, we can look back on those battles that have been won, knowing that there is still more to fight, but be proud of the 20 years that passed. So thank you. Thanks for letting me join you today. Have a wonderful afternoon. God bless you.
Thank you. Oh shit, I wanted to grab a water.
Here we go, Kimora.
Here we go. I'm not saying anything special right now. I'm just saying that was our mayor. He's an elected official. Who here is an elected official? Who here thinks that they should be an elected official? Guess what? I'm known as a rabble-rouser. I'm never going to run for office because it would not work. That would be a really bad idea. My job is to go yell at the people who we elect to make sure that they live up to the ideals that we need. If you're my friend on Facebook, you know this is what I do a whole lot. But everyone has a role. Lewis Mitchell, my faith leader, thank God I have him. If you wonder where I go through, when I'm feeling it, that's the voice that tells me what to do. Sorry, this is what you get. What is your role? Figure out what your role is and then walk it loudly and proudly and unabashedly. We're gonna take a minute right now to come back to spirit and soul and who we are and what connects us all. And actually, I'm gonna turn it over to you to do this introduction.
Surely so. Tracy Lockman is the regional coordinator for the Connecticut LGBTQ Courageous Freedom Group of the Soka Gakkai, she'll have to help us with pronunciation, International Buddhist Organization. She's been practicing Nichiren Daishonin's Buddhism for 22 years. She found this Buddhism while she was in search of a spiritual community that would accept her sexuality. Today, she is happy to share a Buddhist chant with many of her fellow Buddhists. Could you come on up and join us? Let's say hello to Tracy and crew.
Thank you so much. It's fine. You guys are beautiful. Give yourself a hand, everybody, please. Thank you so much for coming on this very hot day. Such a wonderful cause. Can we get it straight? Yes. Not straight, ever. I mean, no, that's okay. We love our straight allies, and thank you to all of our allies who are here today. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Elijah and the committee, for inviting us to share our chant with you today. Nam Yo Ho Renge Kyo, Nam Yo Ho